Hey, Kamali from NimbleNotes here, and today I'm going to be showing you around our new template editing feature using the example of an element from the periodic table. Of course, if you're familiar with NimbleNotes, you know that templates are a great way for us to organize our information, grouping related information together, and it allows us to take notes faster as well as search, filter, and generate flashcards from those templates. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that you'll notice is that we have two areas highlighted in red here, and those are the required fields. All that's needed in order to create a template is to give it a name and add some components to it. So let's go ahead and give it a name. Like I said, we're going to be demonstrating an element from the periodic table. So let's just go ahead and call it an element. Next up, we need to drop some components in here. For an element in the periodic table, it has a few key pieces to it. Now, some students may want to use more, some students may want to use less, but we're going to use a pretty simplified version of an element for today's example. To select a component, just click on it in the sidebar, or you can drag and drop to place it in the template. We're going to go ahead and add a text field for the name, and we'll also need a symbol, atomic number, and atomic weight. So let's go ahead and drop those components out as well. You can place elements side by side or above and below. I'm going to place my name field up top, and I'm going to add the rest of my fields right below it. So we're going to do an atomic number as well as the atomic weight. And I also want to add the symbol in there. So we'll just use a basic text field for the symbol, and we'll just add that right in there. Now that we have the basic layout, we're going to go ahead and name these fields. You'll notice here that this top field is marked as the summary field. You can choose one component to be your summary field. The summary field is the field that you would use to identify the template. For instance, in a question, it's the actual prompt to the question, or in a definition, it's the keyword. For us, we're going to use the name of the element as the summary field. All right, let's go ahead and set up the rest of our fields now. We have our atomic number. Let's do our symbol. This is just the usually 1, 2, or 3 letter symbol that we use to represent an element, sort of the abbreviated name for an element, and the atomic weight, which is oftentimes required in your basic chemistry classes. So now that we have our basic outline, and you know what, let's go ahead and drop an image in here, because sometimes it's really nice to have an image sort of as a reference point you can use. So let's just go ahead and drop an image as well. All right, now that we have the basic layout of our element, name, atomic number, symbol, atomic weight, and an image, let's go ahead and set up some flashcards to be generated. You can choose 3 styles of flashcard generation. You can either choose to not generate any flashcards at all, pretty straightforward. You can use 2-sided flashcard generation, which is what we use when we generate our questions and definitions. This places the summary, the value that is entered into the summary field on the front of the card, and all the rest of the values from all of the other fields on the back of the card. There's also the deck style, which we use to generate our case briefings. And what that does is it puts the summary field as the subtitle on the flashcard, and then each additional field in the template has a flashcard generated for it. So we can see the 2 different styles, and honestly, for an element, you may want to study it in both ways. So while this is going to enable this, while this selects your default style, you will be able to eventually choose to generate a different style when you go to generate the flashcards themselves. So this isn't permanent. For today, let's go ahead and just choose our 2-sided style, and we're going to go ahead and publish that. Once you publish a template, it will instantly become available in all of your notebooks. Here we've set up a Chem 101 notebook, and we're going to go ahead and drop one of our new elements in. You'll notice that it comes with all of the styling and structure that you're used to with our default templates, and we can go ahead and fill this in. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to fill in a few for us, and then I'll be right back. All right, So I went ahead and added a bunch of elements to our notebook, and you can see what those look like here. I just added some for about 10 or 15 different elements here. And you'll see they all have the consistent style and structure, just as we laid them out while we were editing the template: the name, atomic number, symbol, atomic weight, and just an image that we like to remember them by. I also went ahead and created some labels for things like whether the element was a solid, liquid, or gas, as well as some of the other groups that they break these elements down into. And I labeled those elements accordingly and created filters so that we could easily filter through those different types of elements. I created one filter to just grab everything that has a type of element, as well as filters and you'll see that just includes all of our elements here. And I also included filters for things like for all of my solids, all of our noble gases, and you'll see it contains only things that we've labeled as a noble gas. Or things like the alkali metals, which contains only the things that we've labeled as alkali metals, of course. I even went ahead and created a filter to grab an element specifically by its atomic number. Apparently, argon is the element with the atomic number 18. I wonder what atomic number 36 is. Huh, alright, krypton. Cool. Of course, the fun doesn't stop with labeling and filtering. We can also generate flashcards for our custom templates. Let's go ahead and do that for all of the elements we created. Time to study. Helium. I believe that has an atomic number of 2, a symbol of He, and I'm not quite sure about its atomic weight. Alright, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And just like that, we have flashcards generated for each of our elements. Alright, so there's one example of what we can do with custom templates. See you next time.